Okay, so I've got a couple questions from some people wanting to know how to pull ball joints. Lower ball joints, upper ball joints. This one here is actually a tie rod. It's very similar to the way you're going to do the ball joint. As far as knocking them out, the question was how to get them out without a pickle fork. And so here's how I do it. The first thing you're going to do, obviously, is get your cotter key out, which I have already straightened. Then you're going to grab your wrench and, of course, take the nut off. Remember my trick. If you can't get it because it's too tight, then you're just going to lock another wrench together, just like that, just like that, and you're going to pull down and break it loose. So open end to box end. So let me bust this loose real quick. I may have to set this down, we'll see. Okay, and so here's where the trick comes in to where you don't have to use a pickle fork. You pulled the cotter key out of your ball joint already, and you know that the nut is shaped like that. If you were to smack the bottom of this nut right there with my ring fingers touching, you would bend those sides. So take your nut, flip it over, thread it back on the ball joint. Not a whole lot, just enough to get it on there. You're going to go about half the distance of the threads. Let me get it started here just a second. Okay, so I got it finally to take the threads. You can see it turning there. So I'm just going to tighten it up to where I can feel the bolt sticking out just barely. Right now it's flush with the nut. You know, the tip of it is flush with the nut. So I'm going to back it back off to where the threads are just barely in there. Now this is when you're going to save the ball joint. In this case we have a new one, so we don't give a crap. But always flip the nut around, because if you ding the nut too much you can't get it back off. Give her a smack. I may have to flip around here with two hands. I don't know if I can get at it hard enough. Alright, let me set this down. Just give her a smack and hit it hard. Just a second. Okay, little hammer wasn't doing the trick. I had to get some more firepower. That's it. You see it pop up? I hope you've seen that. So now, get back over here, take my nut back off, which now it's going to definitely take a wrench because we've beaten it pretty good. Alright, lost it again. But anyway, so now we're going to take the nut back off, and it is probably still usable, I think. But again, we don't need it. But if you do need to, you know, just make sure you flip it around. So now our ball joint is loose. Well, tie rod in, but in your case, ball joint. And so now we're going to use a couple of wrenches. And what we want to do, and that's because this is a tie rod. If this was a ball joint, we wouldn't be doing this because the ball joint would already be out. But with the tie rod, we're going to hold here. We're going to hold here on the nut so that we don't mess up our adjustment for our toe in, toe out. And our alignment's not off and we have to realign it. If you do screw that up, leave me a comment. I'll show you a quick way and an easy way to alignment for the time being with a tape measure. Most people tell you still go get it aligned after you do it with the tape, but I use the tape now. An older guy showed me and it works great. But anyway, so I'm going to hold the nut here and then I'm going to crank loose the tie rod in your case, ball joint. Well, you're not doing the ball joint anymore, it's just tie rod in. Now I guess this is for the people that want to change the tie rod in. The beauty of a new tie rod end is that tiny little hole right there. It's got a zert fitting, and you're going to put in that little zert fitting. So that way, next time that you get a lube oil and filter, they can lube that steering tie rod too. And this thing's going to last a lot longer now than what they originally did. So let me hold this nut, and that's going to unscrew off. And they're opposite threads on opposite sides of the car. Keep that in mind. So let me hold this real quick and pull this off. Okay, so all I did was just put a crescent wrench from here to here and hold it and cracked it loose. I didn't have to hold this side. I got lucky. This one was easy. The other thing is after you pull the tie rod end off, and again we're on tie rods now, not ball joints. After you pull the tie rod end off, just try not to touch the rotor at all, because then your alignment will be accurate as well. So. Alright, so now we're just going to screw this back on. You can look at the threads right past the nut on the end, that side, and follow them around and tell whether it's lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, or the opposite. But most of the time, on the passenger side, it will tighten normal clockwise, and the driver's side would be the opposite. So in this case, we're good to go. Alright, so let me go ahead and get this threaded on there, get it lined up. We're just going to set it on there, tighten up the nut, put our cotter key back on. Okay, so I tightened up my nut, I put the cotter key back on, I went ahead and installed the Zert fitting, and now I can shoot it with a little bit of oil or grease and we're good to go. The only thing I didn't show you was taking off the tire, but I'm pretty sure you guys know how to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this one back on without showing you that too. So out with the old, in with the new. Hope this video helped you out. Please leave a comment. Any questions or comments, please leave them. If you know an easier way or little tricks to help people, please leave them. We're always about saving money and helping people. And please subscribe. And for any of my other how-to videos, go to my name underneath this video. Click on it, and there's about 100 more of them you can look at. Some of them are really fun. Some of them are maybe a waste of your time. But click on all of them. Watch them all anyway. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.